Over here, we hear a lot of people talk about sacred energy exchange, and a lot of the spiritual dudes feel like, in order to obtain that you actually have to have intercourse, put your dick in a woman's vagina, in order to achieve that result. And when I do the research on it and stuff like that, like I tell you, man, over here, man, we do a lot of research. We just we're not slaves. We're not like the FEM-slaves. We're not, we just don't listen to the black males, the so-called spiritual black males. Because a lot of those black males are just descendants of slaves, right? You could tell in their behavior, in their actions. They don't come from the bloodline of kings and queens, and we can tell that. The FEM-slaves can't tell that for some reason. They believe in words. See, they don't believe in, consistency in action and behavior and everything, because they don't allow themselves enough time before they start having sex with people. They feel like because they're in a relationship with a person that they're obligated by under this man's certain type of laws that they're supposed to have sex, and they're not. So when we look at sacred energy exchange, like we look at cuddling, which was a powerful form of intimacy. We look at holding hands as being sacred energy exchange. Sacred is what? Sacred is really what? Giving somebody something that you haven't gave somebody else, or you're not continuously giving somebody else. So when I look at sacredness, it's like if I'm dating a woman and we're cuddling and everything like that, I'm not cuddling with another woman. Because sacred is just between me and that person. Other energies are not involved in that, And really, I have to be able to get those other past energies out of her and out of myself as well and everything like that before I have anything sacred with the woman that I'm actually dating and stuff like that, or I'm sharing this experience with. See, a lot of those FEM-slaves out there, they just be having sex, and dudes be having all type of female spirits and demons or whatever they want to call it. I'm using their words. All over their bodies and shit. All inside their bodies. All that type of shit. You know what I mean? All that, you know what I mean? There's one girl who's deep in spirituality. She was talking about the new thing is sexually transmitted demons and shit. It's all these different words, man. You know what I mean? And I always look at the result. What is the result? When I look at, let's go back at being sacred. Sacred is just between two people, man. It's two people. It's God has to be involved in that. The energy has to be, something beyond just feelings, and emotions. You have to really be trying to build something with that person. Build a future with that person. I think that opens up a whole different type of level and everything when you're cuddling. Just imagine cuddling somebody that you know is building you an empire. That's working every day. Not somebody that's going to work, being a slave for somebody else's empire, and then coming back to you and you got to do that shit. No, somebody that looks at you and looks inside yourself and be like, you know what, you're worthy. You're worthy enough for me to get up here every goddamn day and build you an empire, my love. Forget that job I'm working at. I'll quit that job right now if I can invest in us. Look at the gifts and talents we got. Why can't we invest in each other and build our own empire? See, that right there is sacred to me. Stuff like that. And not just to talk it, I'm talking about actually doing it. Like we got to look at the experiments and shit. That's what I look at. I look at experiments, man. I look at it and I test it on myself. I'm like, just what I just said right there. Quit your job. You want to know somebody who, if they really, really love you, you got to have a good-ass experiment, man. Quit your job and have that person dedicate their life to your God-given purpose. If y'all both really, really love each other, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people ain't willing to do it because they don't really love each other. a lot of times, man, people are in these relationships because they need something from another person that they can't get themselves. They haven't taken the time to really dig within their soul and try to find something to get what they really, really want. They put all these high expectations on somebody else to give them something that they want. That is crazy, man. So cuddling is a beautiful form of intimacy. I like holding hands and everything like that. Just, you know what I mean? You can have sacred energy exchange by just talking to somebody over the phone for a certain amount of time, probably, right? But then your exchange with that energy should be building something. It should not just be creating feelings. It should be actually building something. What is your purpose? What are you on this planet to be able to be doing? The sacred energy exchange is supposed to be fueling that. Not just you as a person, but what's inside your soul. Right? Energy is inside us, right? That's what they tell me, right? Energy is inside. So what is powering your purpose? You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that we want to be able to talk about later on this week after the holiday. We're going to talk about that sacred energy exchange because it seems like the niggas in the spirituality world just find these new words just to try to fuck somebody. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just new words on that. But then we just study it. And sometimes, man, we find things that people talk about that really actually make sense. You know? And then we study that, and then we try to be able to possibly utilize it in order for us to get to where we got to go. Everybody has a purpose out there. Even you listening to this right now, you got a purpose. You have a reason why you were born. You have a reason. And when you find that reason and when you find that purpose and you're loyal to that, not a human being, when you're faithful to that, not being faithful to a human being, when you're faithful to that God-given purpose, you create a road for yourself. You know how people be talking about, I'm in my own lane. You found your purpose. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, when you find that, you're going to find more and more beautiful things in life. See, when I see these people in the spirituality world, they going through a bad experiences all the goddamn time, man. All the time, dude. They are not having no good time on their spiritual journeys and shit like that, which you're supposed to have a good time on a spiritual journey. The reason why is because they're on somebody else's road that was created by somebody else. They're not on the road that they created themselves. You know what I mean? They're not on that road. They're on a road by listening to another motherfucker who don't even know who they are tell them how to live their life. That's insane, man. We don't do that over here. We don't listen to the descendants of slaves. Melanated people, I don't give a fuck who you are. I can tell, and we can tell, and what I teach them is we can tell if you're a descendant of a slave or not. We can tell. Because kings build queens' empires. Let's look at the history, right? You can't be talking about black kings and black queens without looking at the source of where they was created. Nefertiti, all them and everything like that. Cleopatra, they had their own empires, and they merged alliances with other great men. These women out here are slaves. They don't even have no empires. They don't have no armies. They don't have none of that. They don't have no resources. You see what I'm saying? So when they get with certain dudes and everything, they are submitting and surrendering to dudes for just being a man. A man is supposed to protect you, right? That's what they say. Naturally, protector, natural builder, natural provider. So why are you doing all that submitting and surrendering and all that domestic servitude and sexual worship and praise and all that type of stuff for a man to just do what he's supposed to do? That's all it is. So we're going to talk about more about this. We're going to talk about more about, you know what I mean, the sacred energy exchange later on this week. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good evening.